I would say the question I've gotten asked the most since writing this is, what does factotum mean? When I was trying to figure out what to call this book, I Googled a person who does all kinds of work, and the word factotum came up, and I was like, well, that's a cool word, because I love words. Hollywood factotum it is. As I got further into it, I really started thinking about all the struggles I went through, and that's where I thought, well, maybe I can help people avoid some of the mistakes I made. So for years, I was living in survival mode, and I just got to a point where I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. I have to figure out why I struggle so much with money, and I couldn't figure it out. And that also kind of coincided with my awakening. That was like sort of when the light went on. I was like, maybe I do have something to do with this. And that led me to a very long, deep dive into how our thoughts create our circumstances and how that affects our emotions. And all of this is electromagnetic energy that, like, our brains put out really strong electromagnetic energy that is interacting with our environment and with other people. I became obsessed with learning because as I started to learn about this, my situation started to get better. I started making more money. And the one theme that kept recurring through everything I read was to practice gratitude. And so I started writing a daily gratitude list, which I still do to this day, and I love doing that. Carl Jung said, and we all know who he is, right? Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And so I started to really look into the power of our subconscious mind because that is really the key. But if you don't address what's in your subconscious mind, nothing will really change. And the thing about our subconscious mind is not only does it store the messages we got when we were young about everything, whether it's money, whether it's about people, yourself. There's so much going on in our subconscious mind, and we are operating out of those beliefs 95% of the time. Your prefrontal cortex, which is the thing that makes us different from all the other species, it gives us the ability to reason and to make decisions, we use that 5% of the time. 95% of the time, you're operating on autopilot. So if you have limiting beliefs in your subconscious mind, and you're like, why can't, like I was, why can't I make money? I had conflicting beliefs between my conscious mind and my subconscious mind. And so it was when I started to really examine the messages I got about money growing up that it all started to make sense. And then I just kept learning more and more and more until I started actually reaching my goals and my life started getting better. And here we are. But I'll tell you what, you will never regret learning about your subconscious mind and the power of your subconscious mind. Guys, we're such powerful people. And the reason they don't teach us this is because you can't control people who know their own power. And that's just our brains. Our hearts are 5,000 times stronger. The electromagnetic energy from our hearts is 5,000 times stronger than our brains. So think about the power of your emotions because your heart is like your emotion center, right? So if you start to examine your thoughts, and if you, like, for example, if you get stuck in a negative loop, which so many of us are familiar with, and you can't seem to break out of it, that's when you can use gratitude. Sit down and think about all the things you're grateful for, and it will actually get you out of that negative loop. So after all these years of struggle and being broke and not reaching my goals, the fact that I'm here doing this is just, it's proof that that what I'm talking about is real. If you don't learn about your subconscious mind, you'll never really get to the root of whatever your problems are because that's where they are. I just want to thank you guys all again so much. And it's a happy ending. So, thank you.